All right, so yes from him. Independent Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders serves on 5 Senate committees, including Veterans Affairs, which he chairs. Sir, it's great to have you here. And as we listen there to Ted Cruz, I know you can put this into a balance of a unique perspective that you have as the longest-serving independent member of Congress. You say Republicans are trying to hijack the government until they get their way. We see Ted Cruz there and what his tactics are. This morning we've got 300,000 Pentagon employees returning to work. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of government workers remain furloughed. And if we take the NBC whip count seriously, there are enough votes to pass a clean CR, but John Boehner's not going to do it. So you heard the new ad out is calling John Boehner a crybaby. Is that fair, or is that an overreach in trying to equate Congress to children?
I think most people would think that Republicans are acting kind of childish. But here's the important point. Boehner has basically acknowledged, and everybody has got to understand this, that Harry Reid reached an agreement with Boehner on a conservative budget. $986 billion. That is sequestration. That is $70 billion less than the budget that I supported in the Senate. A major concession was already reached. Point one. Point number two. What we believe is that some 21, 22 Republicans in the House have said, given the opportunity to vote on a clean CR, they would. So we think that Boehner is not being accurate when he says there is not the votes. Bring it to a vote. Let's find out what's happening. Third point, and something I've been saying for a while, and I think the New York Times just confirmed it on its front pages yesterday. Let's not kid ourselves. This shutdown is not something that just came about a couple of weeks ago through Ted Cruz. This has been planned by the Koch brothers and other very, very wealthy people from the day after Obama was reelected. And what they're feeling is, let us go to the extreme. Let us be prepared to shut down the government, not pay the national debt. Let's use every ounce of leverage that we have, even if it means catastrophic pain for America and the world, so long as we get our way.
Sir, let me interrupt just one second, because I want to show that again, and just so we have it in context, the New York Times article that you referenced there, just a small part of it saying that it's a blueprint to defunding Obamacare, a take-no-prisoners legislative strategy, basically to get Obamacare repealed. And we know that the wheels were set in motion right after the president was reelected. He ran on this, ran against somebody who was running against Obamacare, although Mitt Romney instituted basically Obamacare in Massachusetts back in 2006, but we'll digress on that point. But on your website, you go on to say there's a larger end game here. Their agenda is to end Social Security and Medicare, abolish the minimum wage, destroy the EPA, and undo every other program enacted in the past half century to protect working families in America. Are the two sides so far apart, sir, on this issue that government is basically broken from the inside out?
Now, the real issue is, if you look at what the Koch brothers' agenda is, look at what many of the extreme right-wing people believe. Obamacare is just the tip of the iceberg. These people want to abolish the concept of the minimum wage. They want to privatize the Veterans Administration. They want to privatize Social Security. End Medicare as we know it. Massive cuts in Medicaid. Wipe out the EPA. You don't have an Environmental Protection Agency anymore. Department of Energy, gone. Department of Education, gone. That is their agenda. And many people don't understand it. Koch brothers have poured hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into the Tea Party and to all other kinds of ancillary organizations to push this agenda. So what you are fighting now is a continuation of the class warfare that has been going on in this country for the last many years. The rich are getting richer, poverty, number of people in poverty, all-time high, middle class disappearing, and these guys using Citizens United and other forms are now banging away and doing everything that they can to get more tax breaks for the people on top and devastating cuts for working families.
Senator, meanwhile, Ted Cruz is coming out on top of this as a Tea Party hero kind of guy. But here's what he had to say on CNN about whether all of this has really, truly hurt the Republican brand. And then we have the president seeming to take aim squarely at Cruz in his interview with the AP. I want to show both to everybody. Take a look.
Do you think you've hurt the Republican Party brand?
Not remotely. But I also think far too many people are worried about politics.
I recognize that in today's media age, being controversial, taking controversial positions, rallying the most extreme parts of your base, whether it's left or right, is a lot of times the fastest way to get attention or raise money, but it's not good for government.
So, sir, when you have people like Ted Cruz who feel they have nothing to lose by driving the show here, how do you ascertain, being that you are an independent, that someone like you can get in between these two sides to help chart the right waters?
Well, I think what my job is to speak for the American people. And I think what the American people are saying in overwhelming numbers is you don't shut down the government because you can't get your way. What the American people are really angry about is not only do they believe we shouldn't have a shutdown, do you know what they do believe is? They believe we have to create millions of jobs. Real unemployment is extraordinarily high. They believe we have to raise the minimum wage. They believe we have to make college affordable. They believe in many cases we have to make this country more energy efficient and deal with global warming. So the American people are sitting there and saying, what is going on in Washington? My family is hurting. My kid doesn't have a job. I'm worried about the future of Social Security. And these guys are talking about shutting down the government because they can't end Obamacare. And let me say one thing about Obamacare. We are the only nation in the industrialized world that doesn't guarantee health care to all people. According to a Harvard study, some 45,000 people every year die because they don't get to a doctor on time. Obamacare, as you indicated, similar to Romney Care in Massachusetts, is a modest way forward to provide health insurance to 25 million Americans. You do away with that, you're going to see people dying, many people dying, who otherwise would be alive.
Senator Bernie Sanders, sir, thanks for your time. We're going to let you get back to work. I appreciate it, though. Joining me right now, Washington